Let's do it live. Let's do it live. Let's do it live. Hello, everybody. All right, let me get Pablo out. Hold on just a second. I just got done watching my first football game of the year. The Bucks against the Rams. I got my old Tampa Bay Bucks shirt on with a gay pirate. That's fantastic. Gotta love the old Tampa Bay Bucks, man. Those uniforms were the best. Other than the Pat the Patriot, of course, and they couldn't stop the Matthew Stafford machine. That's crazy. The Bucks. So they went down. So we're on Rumble. All right. Now again, you can live chat on Rumble, my friends. It's just awesome. It's just you have to register like you would have to normally sign up for YouTube. So just make sure you do that, and you can live chat. I've been on Rumble live chat with people. So just FYI, yo. All right, cool. So we got, so I appreciate y'all being here on Rumble. Everyone on Rumble. Oops. Let me just, and if you guys have questions or comments on Rumble, put them on there. And obviously, same thing with YouTube too. All right, cool. There we go. All right, so let's, who we got so far? Good. So we got, I see Maria in the house, Vinyl. There's Kim, and there's Finney. All right. Kenny Hart's in the house, right on. Sausage gravy biscuit. What do I need to have in place before I engage your services? I mean, nothing really, just nothing in place. Anyone can engage my services. My services are really geared towards people like 5 years out from retiring or early or sooner, or they have retired. Hold on. So I get a lot of people, 35, 45 or something like that say, hey, I want to, make sure my plan is set. My services aren't worth that. It's just not, because if you're thinking about retiring in the next 15 years, it's just a matter of paying off debt, making sure you have your estate docs in order, get some term life insurance. I mean, it's real simple stuff. Invest aggressively as you can and get an emergency account. Literally that simple. And make sure you have your estate documents, wills, durable powers of attorney, healthcare directives, living will. I'm stunned how many people don't have that. It's not good. And that's one of the ways I can make headway, because I'll tell people, it's like, what do we got going on here? And there's a whole lot of nothing. And it's not their fault. They just don't know, because all the financial planners they before met with never said a damn thing about estate docs. Ticks me off. You want to make sure you got you're invested aggressively. You want to make sure you're paying down your debt, and you want to make sure you have an emergency fund. I mean, I would say get some term life insurance. I tell you that, or be even better, just read my book. Instead of hiring, this is an old, you can see it's been, but instead of hiring me, just buy the book right here. I'll tell you, Strategic Money Planning, everything you need. Harry says, beautiful day in Oklahoma. Yeah, dude, it's fantastic here today too. I actually went for a nice walk. I haven't walked lately, other than on the treadmill, but it's nice getting outside and walking up, kind of the rolling hills we got here in Georgia. It's fantastic. Kim's in the house. Lots of people email me, Kim, saying they're praying for you and Tim. So just FYI, I get a lot. Speaking of which, I'm going to go over an email I just got here about a couple of days ago that I want to share with you. I get so many emails, and look, I'm not saying this negatively. There's no way I can email everyone back. I'm sorry. I just can't. So I get a lot of emails. It is freaking awesome. I just stunned, just old Josh on YouTube with his t-shirt and dogs. And how many people email me saying, your message is loud and clear, and keep doing it. Appreciate it. You gave me the strength, the courage, blah, blah. It's nuts, man. It's as humbling as all can be, and it's freaking awesome. Talk about satisfaction. Everyone wants to be needed. Everyone wants to feel satisfied in what they're doing, and that just makes you feel great. Pablo and Finney. I wish I could email everybody. I just can't. There's just no way. So if you write me, nice notes, I read it. I think it's freaking awesome. I'm not deleting it and saying, I just let it be known that your words are not falling on deaf ears. And going back to like Kim, I can't tell how many people have emailed me, so hard to hear about Tim and Kim. And there's always, and it made them reconsider. So let's read this real quick. So Kim, just as an FYI, you're going to have, I actually sent out an email this morning to my email list, and I usually don't do that. I don't send very many emails. In fact, I don't think I've sent one for a month at least. And it's funny how many, I had 5 people unsubscribe, spammy content. I was like, dude, I spent what? Whatever. But anyway, so just as an FYI, so Kim and Tim, we did a video on them back, I want to say December of last year, walking through a retirement plan. And sadly, Tim has died August. And it's horrible. No other way around that. They're, going to sell their house in California, quit their crap little jobs, and relocate to Idaho. And it's just horrible, man. It's a tragedy. It sucks. There's just no two ways around that. And anyway, but Kim was able to share her story with everybody. And I tell you, how can I say this without being flippant? Through tragedy comes wonders of things that we can't see. And so look, man, I'm trying my hardest not to make this sound crass, but with Kim sharing her story and the loss of her dear, dear husband and the father of her children, I mean, this is no joke. A seed was planted in so many people that maybe it's time to take the bull by the horns before something like that happens to them. And I don't know how else to say that, but because of that situation, which has been made clear to me, the tragedy, I need to get my stuff in order. And again, out of tragedy, obviously good things can come. There's just no two ways around it. I know chaos can come too, I grant you, but and I just look at the tragedy that was Jesus Christ being crucified on a cross. I don't think anyone would deny good things have come from that. You see what I'm saying? I mean, well, lots of people deny that, but no one could deny that, hey, Jesus Christ got crucified. Well, I guess they could deny that too. That's just silly. But if you believe, as I do, in the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, his crucifixion and death was a tragedy that led to the liberation that is Satan has been defeated. Yeah, and no, Tim is not Jesus. Don't anyone go there. But with tragedy comes, if you think about, I don't know if you followed Tony Heller on YouTube, and well, I think he's been every now and again kicked off YouTube, but he talks about all the time. The wildfires that happen in Colorado and New Mexico and stuff, the natural, well, it doesn't have to be natural, but the wildfires. And 20 years later, it's just a bastion of beautiful trees and flowers and grass. It's the tragedy of the wildfires that create the resurgence and a strong growth that comes underneath it. I can't, it's just nuts. And that's, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's going, well, not sometimes, it's always going to happen. There's always going to be tragedy. The question is, how do you deal with that tragedy? Do you just sit on your hands, sucking your thumb saying, oh, I don't want to go outside because I don't want to get the Wuhan flu? Or do you say, I'm going to freaking, tackle this by the horns? But the thing that makes Kim such a wonderful person, she's willing to share that. And so other people could hear first person, I guess, without sales pitch, without, oh, you know what could happen if your wife died? Like an insurance guy. It's crazy. So I just want to share this with you. And he said I could share it. We don't know his name, but hold on, just right here. All right. So here's my man. What's this guy's name? Bob. Old Bob. Bad hand Bob, he says. Josh, longtime listener. Thanks for what you do. I have a unique situation. Just saw the video. There is no time to waste. That has really hit home with me for the last month and a half. I woke up July 31st, 2 days after I turned 37, and my hand partially quit working. I have something similar to radial nerve palsy. My nerves down my left arm run a different course. Because of this, the specialists don't know what to do with me. I'm currently on short-term disability. My job is 100% typing. I'm in a sticky situation as I can type, but a much slower pace than my crappy old job requires. Thankfully, I'm in relatively good shape. I'm single, $500,000 total net worth, 30% in the 401k, the rest in cash, 30% total VTI, no debt, eligible for a small pension if I make it till 65. Plan to draw Social Security at 65, yet this depends on my health, and I can live on $35,000 a year, it's $3,000 a month. Plan to work part-time once I leave the crappy old job. Much now depends on if the specialist can figure out what to do with me. Plan was to retire at 60, but the recent issues has made me rethink. You're welcome to use as an example. You can refer to me as Bad Hand Bob. Anyway, what does that have to do with anything? Well, just the facts are what stuff like that has to do with stuff is other people are going through their own issues and other people are coming out on the other side smiling, if that makes sense. They recognize that they can make this work, and they hear someone like Kim. They say, man, all the tragedies that could come upon me, what do I do, A, to prepare to prevent those, or B, what do I do to make sure if something like that happens that I'm not holding a wet bag at my crappy old job. And it's just this. It's sad, but it's wonderful at the same point. It's like again with tragedy comes lots of opportunity, and it's just I get emails, recognize you're saying about Kim probably 2 times a day. It's nuts. Never mind all the comments on YouTube. Anyway, point being, there's no time to waste. There isn't any. I'm 51. I basically got 20, maybe 25 at the outset. Years left of being Sprite. You know what I'm saying? And how old are you? You 60? You got 10, 15 at the outset, years of Sprite years, and you're going to waste them at your job? And I did the video earlier today. I was reading my man, forgot the guy's, Dr. Cowan. Yeah, Cowan, MD. Forgot what his first name is. Anyway, whatever it was. And he's like, a third of your life is in a job that you hate. Why would you do that to yourself? It sucks. Why are you doing something that sucks? No wonder why everyone's getting this. Is what he said is in terms of hypertension, blood clotting, obesity. It's just sickness. It's sickness, self-imposed. You're like, no wonder why you're sick. No wonder why you're eating crappy food. No wonder why you're getting obese. No wonder why your job sucks and you keep doing it. All because of a paycheck. I tell you, man, it's just sad. It's sad. And how many, look, I was there. I might be back. Just because I'm doing well now doesn't mean I'll be doing well a year from now, 2 years. I don't know. But if you have no debt, oh my goodness, this is why it's so important. My man, we talked about the mortgage issue I did today, another video. The guy's like, he's getting 3.5 on savings, 1.8 on his mortgage. Why would he pay off his mortgage? I said, because you're paying tax on the savings interest, but you have the freaking debt. You have the debt. Look, I don't care what he does. He moved back nicely. He said, "Oh, you're basically instead of paying $500 a month in mortgage interest, he's paying like $300 a month." I'm like, but that's more. That's more than your savings. So you have the debt, costs you $3,600 a month, and you're only getting net of taxes $3,600 a year. Net of taxes, only get $3,000 a year. That makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. And you're not taking the mortgage deduction either. So just right there alone, you're losing money. I don't understand it. Now he's fine. I mean, because he'll be fine. He has enough cash on the side that he's gonna be fine. But I'm going to something like the problem is if you're in a crappy old job, they're gonna mandate jab ding dangs, or they're gonna mandate CRT training, or you'll never get promoted again because you got the wrong ethnicity. If you know what I'm saying, you're a little bit too pale, like your old buddy Josh. And your gender, was it gender or sex, whatever, is not right, if you know what I'm saying. You're not going to, you're out of, why would you keep working for a company that doesn't want you there? Now, again, that's up to you. But if you have no debt, you can make that decision. Say, I don't have debt. I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't need you. You need me more than I need you. And you treating me like crap. Why would I keep up with this? No, go start something else. Maybe it's going to take a year or two. Listen to Sue Cole down in Texas. We interviewed her a couple weeks ago. Got great ratings or whatever, views. Listen to what she was saying. She said, yeah, it's freaking scary as hell, but I did it, and I can't believe where I am. And I love what I'm doing. She trains dogs, and then she does bookkeeping. Let's keep going here. Yeah, right on. Judy says, I'm here, but rarely comment. Well, I appreciate you commenting, Judy. That's fantastic. Eric's in the house. Here's Eric, who his crappy old job does appliance repair in Wisconsin with his Packer fan kids. Look, we can bag on for being a Packer fan. Didn't Wisconsin just get smoked yesterday, too? I think they did. But either way, it's all fun. But he's doing what he wants to do. Do you know how to repair your fridge? I bet you don't. I don't. Hell, jeez Louise, the ice maker goes, I'm like, what do I do? And I can figure it out, but I do. But at the end of the day, I'd much rather say, Eric, do all this crap for me. The compressor goes out. I want Eric to come to my house and do it. I don't want to do it. Why would I want to do it? I don't do it on a regular basis. But if I hire that out to someone who knows what he's doing, only makes sense. You see what I'm saying? And Eric said, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm going to pay him, you pay him a fair wage. He takes a fair wage. You fix your fridge. You do what you're trained to do well. He does what he's trained to do well. We trade. And that's freaking the beauties of entrepreneurship, capitalism, by the way. No drinking milk live. I didn't make it, actually. After I drank all that milk, I died. So I bought, just for you guys who didn't wear, I went to a farm yesterday, got some raw milk. And I have horns coming on my head. Horns. Actually, it's fine. I think it's very creamy. It's very tasty. It doesn't have that nasty smell, by the way. I don't drink a whole lot of milk anyway, but it's good. I mean, I liked it. I don't drink that much milk. I don't know that there's a lot of value in drinking milk, but if you're going to drink milk, and I don't eat cereal or anything like that. But I did have some of that butter they had. Oh, that was weird. Oh man, I grilled some steaks. We had some rolls with a grass-fed grass-fed cow butter. Oh, that was freaking awesome. I tell you, man. Anyway, so the milk was good. It's just not something like I can't wait to drink some more. I don't know. Maybe I just don't drink that much. I guess when I was really heavy into weightlifting, and I want to get, I didn't really care about being like muscular. I just want to get as strong as I possibly could. I really wanted to hit the 1100 club, and I was moving my way. I was drinking a lot of milk, whole milk. I never skim milk. Why bother? I don't get it. But anyway, so whole milk, and that was good, but it's pasteurized. If I would have been drinking raw milk back then, oh man, I probably would have burned out my rotator cuff. All right, so we got hey Robert, right on. Cooper the Great's in the house. Don, all right. Chime in anytime, Judy, right on. Ominous Rooster, right on. Bruce Smith, Tom Major, right on, Bruce. Leveraged income scares the living bejesus out of me, Gerald. Anytime it's leveraged, I'm not a fan. Just FYI. PIMCO bond funds are heavily what they used to be when what's his name was there, Bill Gross. I presume they still are. So everyone say, why is the total return doing so well? I can't believe it. Well, because they leveraged, 30, 40% leverage. If you're going to be that much leverage, just buy a stock market, man. Oh man, Carl Stock is Viva on live against old Josh. Man, I love Viva Fry. Follow him and Robert Barnes on Locals, as you should too. So joshscanlon.locals.com. Big fan. Bruce in the house. Harry again. We got Duke Horton, sausage gravy biscuit. Judy, lots of money to pay Josh's giant bill. I don't get it. All right, here we go. 60 and ready to start working. Sausage gravy biscuit. All right. I don't know what the first thing about the Ryder Cup. I'm not even sure what that is. Something to do with sailing, right? Isn't that the sailing thing where they? Well, I guess it would be. Well, they got lakes. It was. I don't know. In the Ryder Cup sailing, where they take on the Australians or something like that. What do I think about the T. Rowe Price Balance Fund? I don't know the first thing about it, man. Sorry, I just don't know. I like the Fidelity Balance Fund. I like Vanguard Wellington. I just don't know about the T. Rowe Price one. Hello, Jill. All right, good. So let us know. So Kim is going to talk about Social Security, about restricted spousal benefits. Tell us what they say. Please report back if you would. All right. Hey, there's Vaughn. Que paso? Good. My estate paperwork is in order. Globalist just had a 1-hour concert on ABC. Disgusting. Just had a 1-hour concert on ABC. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Got Ohio. All right, let's just see real quick. I don't get the 1-hour concert on ABC. Like some clown on there. So, hey, we got somebody. All right, so hey, we do got people commenting on right on. on Rumble. That's fantastic. So Tim, Tina's on. Hey, Tina, right on, man. And then now I can't put your comments on the live stream here. Rumble isn't affiliated enough yet with StreamYard at some time. Am I still playing a new book on S&P 500 reverse RMD plan? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Don't bang on us, Packer fan. We're great investors. Lots of people in Wisconsin are fantastic. But yeah, I am on the reverse RMD, 100%. In fact, I have something I'm not going to share with you guys right now, but I have there's something that's kicking me in the rear to finish my other one that I'm going to do it by 2 weeks from now. So just FYI. And that's the next one I want to start, the reverse RMD. Great question, my friend who asked that. That was Chopik. Right on. Cool. All right. Let's see. Is there a U.S. Vanguard equivalent to the Canadian VRIF? I don't know what the retirement income fund, I guess, is that VRY. So if I may, why don't take this wrong, John, but why would I know what a VRIF is? Why would anyone know that? You got to look, old buddy Josh, that lump of coal, you got literally spell it out, man. I'm assuming retirement income fund, but I don't know what the variable retirement income fund, I don't know what that would be. Kim says, thanks for the prayers, 100%. I don't respond to your emails? No, what are you talking about? Do you email me, Eric? I don't see any. I look at my, speaking of which, look at spam too, my friends. If you're on the wait list for financial planning services, I had a couple of people email me that like 2 months after I emailed them said, let's go. And they said they were in their spam. So if you're on the wait list for financial planning services, it seems like it's been a long time. Look at your spam folder. I get emails every day in spam. It's crazy. I didn't even look until about 6 months ago. And someone was insisting that was emailing me. So I check spam routinely because a good amount of 3 or 4 emails a day go to my spam. It's crazy. All right, here we go. At 50, is paying off rental property for higher cash flow a good idea? It's at 4% and only 100K left on a 400K property. No, I think if I'd probably just let the renters, your tenants, pay that for you. It's a tier. That's what I would do. I would not deleverage myself on a rental property if I'm getting it paid for the mortgage payment by my tenants, if that makes sense. All right, here we go. Michael says, maxing my Roth TSP, making too much of Roth IRA, but still have some left to contribute to a traditional IRA. New White House proposals hinting at sunsetting IRA. So, yeah, they're not. I mean, so look, man, at the end of the day, the White House proposals don't mean anything until it actually gets to committee. The proposal that you should be worried about is what was in the House Ways and Means Committee, which I think came out of the subcommittee. And that was about not limiting Roth conversions, but basically saying once you have something like over $10 million in some kind of account, be it a Roth or a traditional, you have to take it all out until you're back to $10 million. So I'm as we sit here today, I don't have any consternation at all about Roth conversions in terms of are they going to limit that. The House Ways and Means is where everything comes. The White House proposals at this stage don't mean anything. I mean, it's something to consider. I grant you. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't say, oh, my goodness. But it's the Ways and Means. And remember, by the way, bills aren't written by Congress people. They're written by lobbyists. I cannot stress this enough. Lobbyists write the bills. All right. So at the end of the day, the likelihood that there is a lobbyist in the financial industry that's going to write laws that say you can't do Roth conversions or something like that, yeah, maybe, but the likelihood is going to focus its way all the way down to just you and I. No, man, just not likely to happen. What benefit is it for the lobbyists to do that at all? Secondly, the lesson we got to learn here, of course, is stop focusing so much on deferring taxes, man. I don't know what your circumstance, you make too much, but the vast majority of us would be well advised to just bypass anything in deferrals other than whatever your company matches. If you get a match, and just put everything in a traditional brokerage account. It's the weirdest thing, this aversion to paying a little bit of tax on the front end while the cash flow is good. So defer the tax to later when the cash flow is not so good. Huh. But Josh, my spreadsheet and red sheet, man. I'm sitting there thinking, all right, so I got the money flowing in. I can pay a little bit more in tax today, put it in VTI in a brokerage account, basically pay no capital gain tax unless the House Ways and Means Committee bill that passed the subcommittee passes, which basically says we will no longer give ETFs an exemption from long-term gain tax, basically distributions to their shareholders. I could easily see that happen, but still, all right. So if you have an index fund, there's not that much in turnover anyway. It's just not a big deal. It's just not, man. You got $100,000 in VTI. There's a 5% turnover. 5% turnover doesn't equate to $5,000 long-term capital gain. It just says they turn over the stocks. For every 100 stocks, they turn over 5. That's it. That's just no big deal. So let's just say that 5% equals, I don't know, a $5,000 capital gain for just simplicity. I'm literally just pulling out of the air. All right, so I got $100,000 in a VTI. I get a $5,000 long-term capital gain, tax at 15%. That's what, $750 or something like that. Okay, and I never have to pay tax on it again. I mean, is that big of a deal? I get a 2% dividend distribution. That's taxed at 15%. So that's $100,000. I get a 2%. That's $2,000 taxed at 15%. That's $300. So it costs me basically $950 on a $100,000 VTI. That's probably the worst case scenario. And I'm making money at my crappy old job, and that avoids that being taxed ever again. I don't get it. And then that defers it ever being taxed ever again when I'm in my need of my money because I have no job. I just tell you, I don't think I've done enough on this to emphasize what I think I've probably done more than anyone else, but to emphasize the burden of the tax in the future when you least can afford it because you have no income. You got Social Security and you got distributions that come with a heavy tax. If you get paid the taxes now while you got the money, you don't have to worry about the future. And on top of that, if you're low income and you sell some long-term capital gains, it might not be taxed at all. I don't know, man. I think people overlook the opportunity, or they value the tax deferral today in just today's point. They say, I'm getting a 25% reduction in taxes on this $10,000 deferral. And that $10,000 grows to $100,000 in the future. I got to pay taxes on the $100,000 when I'm at my least ability to pay. I just don't think that makes sense. So binder with everything in place. Binder's full of woman. Remember that? And full instructions, names and assets and passwords. Anything happens to me, I want Tracy to have everything ready. Tracy's like, yeah, trust me, Eric, something's going to happen to you. If you know what I'm saying. All right, let's see what we got here on Rumble. All right, cool. Anything else coming down the pike? Because Tracy's like, all right, my man says, another Packer fan, a third invest in brokerage, third invest in traditional, third invest in Roth. Should I do any Roth conversions? I mean, the answer is maybe. Is that Jeff Rains? Is that you? I haven't seen you around for a while. But I see a J Rains 87. I'm thinking it's my man Jeff. All right. Now that's a question I don't know, because if you're working, you know what I'm saying, you're making big money, would I add to the Roth conversions would I add to the tax man by doing Roth conversions? Probably not. I would still rather wait for you to do Roth conversions in the future, if that makes sense. That might seem disjointed there. You're like, wait, you're telling me to pay more taxes on the front end. I'm basically saying you've already deferred it. That's where I'm going with this. So you've already deferred it. So why add to the tax man when you've already deferred, if that makes sense? To do Roth conversions, especially in your work career. Hey, 25 schmackers by Amanda Smith. All right, Amanda, well, much obliged. What says you? Be happy to comment if you got anything. Oh, look at that. Amanda gave me 25 schmackers. I'll go buy some more raw milk. All right, someone's really upset because it was just goofing me. I was like, smacking my lips. to emphasize the flavor. All right. Denise is in the house. Denise is very, very interesting. Someone she knows, near and dear, said her HSA was capped. And I said, I don't know that to be true, but that's what she said. And she's very meticulous on her spreadsheets and cash flows and whatnot. So she said once she hit, I think it was 65 on Medicare, she could no longer have her HSA grow. I don't know about that. I said, I'm not so sure about that. And neither Denise and I were like, I don't know. Anyway, anyone hear that? That I've never heard that. I've never heard that. So look, I'm not suspicious. I'm like, oh, this lady's lying. I think she might be saying something she means differently than the way Denise and I are understanding it, if that makes sense. But if anyone's heard that you cannot, your HSA can't grow once you're on Medicare. Now I know you can't use the HSA for, I think it's Medicare premiums, but or is it you can't use it for Obamacare premiums. I can't remember if you can. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but it's easy to find out. So someone can look that up. But I hadn't heard that. So if that's true, and I don't think it's true, but if that were true, that's a big deal. I just don't think that's true. But she was saying at the end of the day that she had to change her prescription drug plan 3 times. She's on Part B, Part D, and supplemental policy, not Part C. Part C is Medicare Advantage. All right. Part C is not original Medicare. I mean, it's still on Medicare and all, shapes and sizes, but you're paying Medicare Advantage is Part C. It's kind of like an HMO essentially. And some Medicare Advantage plan will throw in a Part D for you, or at least prescription drugs. You go see J.O. at maximizermedicare.com or Danielle Roberts at boomerbenefits.com. They know a whole lot more about this than I do. But at the end of the day, Part C is cheaper than buying a supplemental policy, but you have some limitations in there, and the prescription drug stuff that you have every year. The what's available through your plan changes. Anyway, so she said she had to change her Part D 3 times because of various cost increases and stuff, and that was interesting. I hadn't heard that either. I was like, and that I completely believe, but. So Part D is given from, basically you're buying a policy to protect you against catastrophic prescription drug costs. And she was saying it went up, remarkably for premium Part D. And see, I don't know. I'm not on it. So I don't know that. I don't want to say I don't know it to be true, but that would be like saying Part B can go up. And I don't know that to be, and I know that can't. So unless you're making more money. So I'm not sure. Unless she was making more money, that her Part D premiums would have gone up because of Irma. But I don't know. She was saying that she had to switch out 3 times to keep her premiums reasonable. I don't know that to be true. It was interesting. And again, going back to, I receive emails all the time, and I put visual on them. Some jump out at me, some don't. Some I respond back to, some I just don't. It depends. And I know that sounds like, oh, you're so cocky. You got people want to talk to you and you're not emailing back. I don't. And then, some people just give me great words of encouragement, which I freaking love. They'll give me things like, hey, blessings to Kim and all that stuff is wonderful. I really, really appreciate it. It stresses me out not replying to people's emails. Not going to lie to you. Now, at this stage, I've kind of gotten over it, so I just can't. Right here. Kim Store's eye opener for my wife and me, J-Wall. Would you say Kim's story was an eye-opener for I? No, you would not. You would say Kim's story was an eye-opener for me. So Kim's story was an eye-opener for my wife and me, J-Wall. Come on, basic grammar. I'm just saying that because I had a typo the other day. One of my things, I said no instead of now, and some guy was hammering me saying, just think if you're putting a resume out there and you said this, I said, oh, I didn't know I was applying for a job. And my man Kirk, if he's on here, he came to my rescue too. He's like, saving the world one typo at a time. It's funny, man. Whole point about that is my wife used to hammer me on that. It's not an I, it's an me. I said, okay, sweetie, okay, just don't punch me. Just don't hurt me. We're guilty of just one more year syndrome. Yep. I'm 59. So right here, this is what I'm talking about. Kim sharing her story is leaving Jay Wall to go to bigger and better things. That sucks for Kim. But she can take heed knowing that Tim, I hate to say it, was a sacrificial lamb for others to see the light. And again, I'm not trying to be freaking blasphemous or discount the Kim's loss, but you want to be meaning. You want your life to have meaning. So for Tim to have left this earth way too soon, to leave behind a wife and children, but to see something like this, just one more year, I was going to retire at 63, I'm at 59, I'm done. Now, Kim isn't saying, I'm not saying that Jay Wall has I don't know. My inclination is he's not stupid, so he knows what he's doing. He's getting the hell out of Dodge to go enjoy the limited time he has with his better half. Pedro says, inexplicable. It's best to live your life with a financial plan to protect our loved ones. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think anyone would discount that, brother man. Okay, let's see. Any other comments on Rumble? Nothing. All right, cool. I'm just going back and forth, as you can probably tell. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm going to get boycotted for saying that. Let's get ready to stump. There we go. Let's get ready to stumble. All right, cool. Good stuff. All right, sweet. Yeah, those seminar estate lawyers are really something else. Yeah, right on. New retiree from Lower Alabama. Right on, man. Harpo Mark. Oh, that's fantastic. Did anyone see the PBS Frontline story on retirement in the U.S.? It was posted online 4 to 5 days ago. I haven't. Tell us. Chicken Charlie. On my website, just heritagewealthplanning.com/fees. heritagewealthplanning.com/fees. If work was fun, they wouldn't need you. Yeah. But they want you to feel like you need them more than they need you. All right. So here's the problem, my man Carl. If we could just eliminate wokeism, third wave feminism, and entrenched politicians, life would be so good. So I'm just going to bash on Carl here for just a second. Life can still be good if you make it good. See, that's the thing here. Is I think you're allowing wokeism, third wave feminism, and whatever the other thing is, and entrenched politicians to dictate your life for you. I'm not speaking solely to Carl here, but why are you doing that, man? Like why are we saying, oh, those, friggin' the Communist Party of China, they really anger me, and I'm so worried about them. Like, okay, but you're allowing them to rule you, if that makes sense. You're kind of being ruled by those you hate, and you're giving them the power. One of the things I'll never forget, I've shared this 1,000 times. One of the first times I went to AA, I was pissed off because I was being sued. What did I have? No, I was arrested by a chick who falsely accused me. Oh, she didn't arrest me, but she cried crocodile tears. The magistrate, I got busted. Long story short, me and Charlotte were living in Phoenix, Arizona by then, and I had to go back to Arlington, Virginia, the Clarendon courthouse to plead my case that this is freaking nuts. I'm still pissed by this, not gonna lie to you, because just some chick crying fake tears, and the whole story is complete. I tell you, man, this is where I saw the whole Me Too crap. I was like, you guys all freaking fakers. Sadly, there are people who aren't faking it, but these Me Too people, the Lena Dunhams, they're just fakers. I can't stand them. Point being is, I was mad. And I went to an AA meeting because I wasn't thinking about drinking, but I was pissed. And I just needed a release. And I'll never forget this guy, some scruffy old guy, old man, just probably seen better days. Let's put it that way. He said after the thing, he came up and said, "Hey, man, I appreciate you sharing, but what's going on?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You're really angry?" But I said, "Yeah, because it's not fair. It's bull crap." Blah blah blah. He goes, "Oh, okay. So she's in control of you, huh?" I said, "What? What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, look how upset you're getting. And she lives 3,000 miles away, and you're gonna have to go to a court, and that's gonna be in a couple of weeks. And right now, you're really pissed off and upset, and really angered you. So she's completely in control of you." And so, well, no, she's not. Well, okay, then why are you getting so mad if she's not in control? She completely controls your life. Anyway, long story short, I'll never. This is 1997. I will never forget that guy. I don't know his name. I just remember he's a scruffy old guy with like a 3-day thing. I was like, skinny guy smoking like a chimney, as most people do in AA. And I was like, you're right. I'm letting someone I can't stand control how I feel. This is nuts. It's nuts. And I'm not saying I don't do that to this day. Biden still pisses me off. Actually, I laugh at Biden. But look, if you're all upset about AOC, she's just a troll. She controls you. Why? She's a fool, man. Just laugh at these people. It's like that chick's stupid. I mean, she's literally dumb. Just laugh. Who's the other cause? Kamal. No one cares about Kamal. So there's absolutely no reason you should be worried about Kamal. She's an idiot. Biden doesn't know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Jen Psaki, where the hell her? She's dumb. I mean, all these people are just dumb, man. Yes, they have power over you. I get it. But to sit there and be in anger by that then means you're dealing with a false sense of reality, because yes, they have power, but you getting angry doesn't stop that from happening. Anyway, point being is, why allow fools to control you, if that makes sense? Why allow BLM to control you? Like, BLM, oh man, how come? Look, I've done it. I do it all the time too. Jeez. All right, here goes 101st Star Wars fan. Right. He has a question. He's 51 years old. I haven't seen your birth certificate, Star Wars fan. He goes, I'm 51 years old. So I'm assuming that you are correct, that you are 51. So answered completely. Is there a 6% rule on pension option? So I think what you're talking about with me is you're saying, hey, if you can get 6% return, or I should distribution yield, not return. Scratch that. Any regulators out there? Not saying returns, distribution yield. If you can get a 6% distribution payout, is probably the better term. I'm pretty comfortable with taking the pension at that point. I don't know your other circumstance, Dougie Fresh, but I'm pretty comfortable. If you can get a 6% payout on a pension, I'm usually pretty comfortable with that. All right. I do not do hourly service anymore. And I'm sorry, being a fiduciary does not matter. But I don't do hourly. Yeah, right here. Fauciism. Your company of 99 employees doesn't mandate jabba jabba, but a company of 100 does. Science. All right, here we go. All right, so here I just had him, man. I had my Star Wars fan guy, and I lost him. Oh, man. Oh, Star Wars fan, I lost your brother. Oh, man, that sucks. Ask it again. Brian Lindsay, first time, long time, right on. Maryland, all right. 62, 67, or 70. Way too much. That right there is a buzzsaw for this guy to walk into. So here's sausage, gravy, biscuit, sawing away, here's drop. I'm going to lose that every time. I don't know. Oh, so I do want to show you something on Bruce. They're pushing greenery, climate change, hungry, COVID, poverty, and only globalist unit can solve it. So check this out. This is fantastic. This makes me happy. All right. Hold on just a second. Right there. This makes me happy. Europe is switching back to coal to survive a bleak winter. By the way, remember how they said China is going away from coal? No, they're going away from exporting it or importing it from foreign. They're getting all insert. That's what they're saying. But I mean, I don't trust the communists as far as I can kick them. At the end of the day, I guarantee flip it to you, China is going to be digging heavy for coal, as they should be, because coal is wonderful. Europe is switching back to coal to survive a bleak winter. Having banned fracking in much of Europe, and now with low wind speeds compounding the continent's energy crisis, on top of that, ain't much sun in Europe. Gas prices in the UK and much of Europe are going through the roof. A shortage of affordable natural gas is forcing these Europeans to switch to coal to survive a bleak winter. Yes, I'm laughing because all the climate tomfoolery is idiotic, and it just hurts middle and poor people. The rich people can afford all that crap. Regular people can't. So screw you guys, your stupid green energy crap. It's all fake. It's all fanciful. And you don't abide by it. If you did, you would not get on that freaking airplane. You would not get shipped from Amazon. You freaking, more than anything, I can't stand the green people. I can't stand them because they're all fake. All rich, spoiled brats who don't know a day of hard labor. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, so UK among nations facing a bleak winter with consumers at risk of being unable to heat their homes. By the way, So we went by a power plant all day. So you know what happens a lot of times, like even we'll use a nuclear plant, for instance. When you see that smoke coming up the smokestacks, you know what that is, right? I'll let you guys debate among yourself. So if you go by a nuclear power plant, what is that smoke that's coming up the smokestacks? Oh my goodness, it's going to kill us all. Oh, it's pollution. Low wind speed, we talk about that. The deepening energy crisis coming at a time when the Western governments are trying to push emerging and developing countries to agree to net zero. This is where they've shot too fast, man. I'm telling you, this is where what's the orange vest now in Australia, the yellow vest in France. Wait till it happens here, man. Because we're still America. Still got lots of righteous freaking mofos in America who don't want to pay a hell of a lot of money for energy. I'm telling you right now. And it's going to be great as they keep pushing this crap because it's all fake. All fake. I had another guy. It's just a matter of years. I'll bet you 10 years we'll all be basically the Tesla power walls. Like, well, that's crazy. So Tesla has all these chemists and engineers that are working on trying to develop energy storage and batteries. Wow, no one's ever done that in the last 120 years since we've had battery technology. No one has ever thought, is there a way to store more energy? It's never happened. But suddenly Tesla is going to have all the best engineers who weren't existing in the last 120 years. It's freaking crazy. The deepening energy crisis comes at a time when we are talking about Europe's embarrassing coal comeback will make any net zero demands almost impossible for politicians from the UK. Freaking Boris Johnson, kiss my big fat pail behind, you freaking piece of crap. The Spectator's editorial this week was spot on when it warned Boris Johnson, instead of leading the world to net zero, he should be prepared for other countries to see in his energy policy an example of what not to do. Europe utility providers are preparing to switch to alternative energy sources to meet demand. Now, alternative energy is coal, including carbon-rich coal as gas supply problems continue. That makes me so flippin' happy. If energy providers are forced to compete for the limited amount of gas, prices will continue to soar with costs inevitably being passed to consumers. The long and short of it is that unless there's a mild winter or an ease in demand, the EU utilities will have to look to alternative energy sources to meet the demand. While most may read alternative energy sources as renewable, the energy market has a different definition, coal. While upping coal production will not be welcomed by many as Europe looks to lower its carbon emissions, it is far more economic source of fuel. It remains to be seen how the European utilities will balance the rise in carbon emissions and consumer sentiment against the unavailability of power for less carbon-intensive sources. European coal for lined up delivery for next year rose to its highest level since 2008 on strong demand from power stations and low stockpiles. If that doesn't just put a spring in your step, I don't know what does. That just makes me so happy. Yeah, freaking Europe can kiss my big fat. They're all clowns over there, man. All of them. Look, are there some good people living in Europe? Absolutely. But they're all living a fantasy because we, the empire that is the United States, have been allowing them to live with a fantasy. They haven't had to pay their own defense. We've been there for them every step of the way. We just need to retrench. We need to say, screw all the military people in Germany and freaking, you name it. We're coming back here. Korea, Japan, you guys are on your own. Sorry, Charlie. Look, China's a paper tiger, man. Give me a break. You say, okay, you're on your own. We're coming back here. Retrenching. We're not going to freaking supply you and support you with our military anymore. Why is America the empire? It doesn't make any sense. So screw all that. Everyone hates us anyway. Just bring them back home, man. Bring them back home to you. That's such a good song by Led Zeppelin. All right. Oh, that makes that just, if that doesn't put a freaking spring in your step, nothing will. And the idea that CO2 is somehow this evil, we're dealing with idiots, man. I tell you, how dare you say that? I'm a PhD in chemistry. Yeah, that doesn't mean crap. Post hole digger. You know what they say about CFPs, by the way. I'll let you figure that out. I'm a CFP. Yeah, okay. In the industry, we had a very degrading word for that. For can't effing produce. That's what we call CFPs. I'm a CFP. Wellington Fund. Yeah, big fan. Yes, I do. Look, I'm not an attorney. I do discuss trust versus. So The answer that most people say, I said, why do you get, what's going on with our living? We got this living trust. Why? Well, I want to avoid probate. Huh. Okay. So you got $3 million in an IRA and you got a house. What's, the house will a deed that both people on the deed. So in theory, that will be probated because it's not in the living trust. But it's not that big of a deal. No, it's not. Just not. I'm sorry. It's not, because you're still gonna have a probated estate because everything. How does this get put into probate? Through a trust? I mean, maybe, but you think the probate is just good? Okay, no, you got trust. We're not involved. No. In fact, having the probate involved is not the worst thing ever happened. Again, 7.5 million people die every year in the U.S., man. That means there's millions of probated estates. A few get settled crappily because, I hate to say it, mostly is because the estate docs that were set up 20 years ago that haven't been adjusted. The vast majority are fine. It's just no big deal. You still go to probate. On top of that, your IRA is a non-probated asset. It's not probated. Get it? So you're leaving and then with the stretch IRA rules being completely nuked, what are we doing, man? We're going to leave my IRA to a living trust to avoid probate and to stretch out the RMDs. You can't do that anymore. It's not probated anyway. And so when did you set that trust up? 20 years ago? Oh, yeah. Why? Well, because my 2 kids were in diapers. Are they in diapers now? No. Are they shooting dope? No. Well, what are we doing? And I'm not bashing people. I just deal with this all the time. What's the point? Now, if you got property in various states, yeah, I can see wanting to avoid probate in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Maine. I get all that. But then again, when it comes to refinancing a house that's in a living trust, when it comes to the sale of a house that's a living trust, all this stuff is a pain in the ass. There's no other pain in the butt, no other way around that. So I'm kind of like, at the end of the day, man, is it worth it? Now, there are people who need a living trust because of kids in particularly who can't take care of themselves or who are do them bad things if they inherit a bunch of money. I do not deny that. I truly, I'm witnessing every day a trust that was set up for someone who's near and dear to me that, thank the good Lord, it was there. That's all I got to say about that. But the vast majority of us, that's not the case. So what are we trying to accomplish? I want to avoid probate. I want to avoid, what else? I literally is avoid probate and keep my, that's what it is. Why do you want to avoid probate? Well, I want to keep my affairs hidden. Okay, well, your IRAs and all the life insurance, all that doesn't go to probate anyway. If you do PODs like my man's talking about here, Lawrence, this is Bill Roth's son. You know Bill Roth is, I hope. It's not, I'm just joking. But anyway, he said pay him on death. Yeah, well, if you have taxable accounts, put a POD on there. If you have a TOD of taxable brokerage account, a POD of the banking account. Easy peasy, man. Don't make it too difficult. I can't tell you how many, because look, I was at USA. We dealt with a lot of high-ranking officers, mostly the vast majority of men whose wives weren't really involved financially. And as such, the women didn't know what was going on at all. And so the men would set up these elaborate trusts to try to help the spouse. And you're like, dude, you are setting up this freaking spaghetti junction. There is no way under God's green earth she's going to know what to do. Why are we doing all this? It was not, I cannot tell you how many military men would say, well, Betty. Well, I don't, we want to make sure Betty's taken care of, but, she blah, 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 like, holy crap. I can't figure this out. You can't figure it out. You don't even know who your durable power of attorney is. Oh, yeah, well, it's, Don't do that. Tom's from St. Mary's. Scott's from PG County. Roanoke, right on. Oh, man, love me some Roanoke. Hey, Mary's on Rumble. Oh, everyone's favorite Connecticut realtor, Mary Hampton in La Casa. That means the house for non-Spanish speakers, which, of course, I am. I'm a Spanish speaker. All right, what kind of stuff we got here on old Rumble? All right, good. Got some people on there. Right on. Good. All right. Hey, Scott's in the house. Where you at, Scott? Scott was taking a trip last year. Scott's from Montgomery County. Where are you from, Scott? So we got 2 Scotts. My man Scott, who was retired a year ago. He's moving around. He and his better half. And then Scott from Maryland, Montgomery County. I went to school at Blair in Montgomery County. And then keep busy living or get busy dying. Ooh. Indianapolis, high dollar county. Lynchburg, Virginia. Love me some Lynchburg too. All Pro Leamington Z. Interesting. All Pro Leamington. What the hell is a Leamington? I like it. All right. So my man Scott Crawford says, got lots of Scots. Can you explain the pros and cons of reverse mortgage, please? Yes. Quickly, because this is a big deal. The biggest con of a reverse mortgage is that you're taking a loan to finance your retirement, and you're probably never going to pay that loan back during your life. The loan still has to be paid back. All right. So it's reverse amortizing. So what's happening is every month that you don't make a payment is a month the interest is compounding on itself. So when you die, and I'm just assuming it's you, Scott, and you're dead, that someone, be it your estate, your heirs, someone is going to get first dibs on the sale of your home. And so what happens is you have a $500,000 home, you take a $250,000 reverse mortgage, just saying that for example, and we'll say the debt from $250,000 grows from $250,000 to $500,000, and we'll just say your house only grows to $600,000. So when you die, you never had to pay the payment back. So that reverse amortization just means it's compounding essentially against the equity in your home. So at your demise, the house is worth $600,000. The debt is worth $500,000. The house must be paid, or the bank must be paid back. And the only way for it to be paid back mostly is that your heirs will have to sell the house in which to pay the house back. So they'll sell the house for $600,000. They'll keep 100, and they'll send 500,000 back to the bank. Okay, I don't find that to be a big deal, but a lot of people get really upset. Well, I want to leave the house to my kids. Yeah. Anyway, be that as it may. Part two of that is if the house is worth $600,000, but the debt is now worth $700,000, what do you owe? You only owe the fair market value of the house. You do not own the loan. Owe the loan amount because it's a non-recourse loan. So the house is worth $6,000. The debt is now worth $7,000 for whatever reason. Your kids sell the house, the bank walks away, or your kids just say, here, bank, here's a house, here's a deed, we're done. We don't, go, we don't care. So it's a non-recourse loan, which means your estate is not left to pay, and you don't have to come up with cash to get the bank off your back, if that makes sense, which is freaking awesome. So the very worst case scenario is there is no equity left in the house for which your children would get it at your death. I frankly just don't find that as a big deal. I just don't. Part two of there is a second on that, though, is I tell a lot of people to use your house as a way to finance your long-term care. All right. So what happens a lot is if you're taking a reverse mortgage and the reverse mortgage is eating in the equity that was one of our long-term care insurance plan. Look, I don't think it's that big a deal because not that many people actually need long-term care of any significance. It's just not. It's just factually correct that very few people actually need it for any significance. The vast majority of us can pay for it out of pocket. But if you were one of those people, about 10% of the population or so who need it for over six figures, my rule of thumb is to sell the house, move into assisted living, and then skilled care. All right. The house, but it's going to be harder to do that because we don't know what the value of your home will be when you need to go to that nursing home. And we don't know how much equity you'll still have in there. And then that is an issue. I don't deny that in the least. Yeah, well, there's issues all the time. They just say it. The freaking huge benefit of the reverse mortgage is, I just wish people could see this better. If you're going into retirement with a mortgage, I don't know why people don't fathom this. You have to generate income for which to pay that mortgage. That income will be subject to income taxes. You have to do this. There's no two ways around that. So if your mortgage is $2,000, you immediately have to generate $24,000 of income to pay $2,000 a month. That $24,000 of income will be taxed. So we'll say it's going to cost you, for simplicity, $30,000 in tax and total distributions to cover a $24,000 mortgage debt. You're not getting a standard deduction. I mean, you're not getting an itemized deduction, most likely. You're just supposed to standard deduction. So you're getting no benefits whatsoever of the mortgage interest. I need the mortgage interest to deduct. That's freaking crazy talk, man. And so you got to come up with $24,000 a year in which to pay the mortgage, which means you got to pay tax on that $24,000 a year, which also has an opportunity cost. That's $24,000 a year you cannot be using for something else, like having fun with your wife. Go take her to the freaking beach. Go to Crete. Greece. Where do I want to go? Charlotte wants to go to Montana one of these days. We've never been skiing, but try skiing. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't care. Maybe you want to go to friggin' Joplin, Missouri. Get out there and make it happen. But, uh-oh, hold on. Oh, hi, baby. Come on in. Yeah, what a good pumpkin. Come on. Everyone wants to see the Pablo. Come on up. Come on. There he comes. Here's the star of the show. You haven't seen Pablo for a while. There he is. Give me a kiss. Give me some immunity. Pablo doesn't kiss me like Finney does. Oh, I love that guy. Anyway, the point being is, if you do, what I was saying is, with a reverse mortgage, you can pay off that outstanding debt with the equity in your home. Okay, that was okay. Love you. You just want to see I haven't ran away. So, look, don't forget, that guy's great, the gay pirate. How do you not love that guy? I love him. If I went that direction, I might give him the time of day. I don't go that direction, but if I did, I'd say, yeah, I like that you're winking at me. Oh, I love the old Tampa Bay Bucks uniforms. Tell you, Doug Williams and the old Tampa Bay was a freaking intimidating looking guy, because Doug's a dark black guy, and those white helmets they used to have with that kind of this orange creamsicle. Oh, it was seeing Doug Williams quarterback the Buccaneers was fantastic. Remember Dave Stewart used to be the pitcher for the A's, dark black Dave Stewart with the A's uniform on. Woo-wee, that was intimidating. Then you heard Dave Stewart interviewed. You're like, man, it's like Walter Payton or Mike Tyson, very high-pitched, soft-spoken kind of guy. I used to love sports, man. I can't tell you. It's sad that I don't anymore. Anyway, so reverse mortgage. All right, I have equity in my home. Why not use it and pay off that debt? You don't have to make a payment ever again. Ever again. It's fantastic. And, if you die, the bank will get what's theirs. And if there's anything left, goes to your heirs. It's great. Part two of this is you can take out a reverse mortgage without even borrowing anything. You take it out of this line of credit, which grows with a certain interest rate. I don't know, it's 5, something like that right now, which is, if you never touch it, it's just growing at a certain clip, 5%, whatever it is, that you can tap into later, tax flipping free. So you have a bad year in the market, don't take something that's down 40%. You'd say, I need some money to take my wife to the beach. I'm taking it from my reverse mortgage. It's tax free. And if you do it right, and you're living off your reverse mortgage and Social Security in a brokerage account as opposed to an IRA, that's all tax free. All tax free income, tax free. Anyway, hope that helps a little bit. I have my man Troy says, what percent of my equities do I have in foreign? Big fat goose egg. Nothing. I'm what do they say about trust? A nativist, something like that. Xenophobe, something like xenophone. I'm a xenophone. I don't trust in foreign markets. If your email doesn't recognize a particular email, sometimes go to junk. 100% right. That's exactly right. Usually if it comes from me, it's going to junk anyway, because all right, so here's my man David chats on Rumble. Hey, Josh, I'm 34. Let me just get that off there. I think, okay, good. All right. Hey, Josh, I'm 34, no debt, no mortgage, just had first kid. Wife stays home. We make 145, right on. Full-time job, side hustle 20, 500K retirement. 200K cash. FTJ says mandatory jabs are coming. There's no way I'm working for a company who's going to tell me what to do with my body. I'm just sorry. There's no way. I don't even, that's not even, it's just not even debatable to me, man. I know they don't allow you show this on the media, but the number of people who've been negatively affected by the jabba is extraordinarily high that you will never hear about or see about. Why would you do that to yourself for something that you're not? What 99.8, 99.7? I mean, and if you're 34 years old, the likelihood of you going to your great reward because of what is so infantile. I don't know what that word is. Infantile. It's tiny. Why would you? What? This just risk versus reward, people. The risk of not doing something versus the risk of doing something. You weigh those two things. If I'm at the risk of, say, 65 and I'm obese and I got hypertension or pneumonia or whatever, the risk of not doing something, the jabba jabba, versus the risk of doing something, inherently that would make sense to me. I don't get it. This is crazy. But if I'm 34 years old, I just had my first kid. What is the risk I have of jabba of the you know what versus the jabba jabba? It's risk for reward, no different than investing in the stock market. You got to do what you got to do. I get it. You're making money. I get it. You got a kid. Dude, you said you got no debt. You got no debt. You got freaking 500,000 in retirement and 200,000 in cash. This is not even debatable to me. I'm telling my job, F you, I'm out of here. And they're going to turn around and they're going to find they need you more than you need them. Now, they might not say it right out the gate. I'm just telling you, we'll just wait and see what happens 5 months from now. I'm telling you, man. And by the way, it's going to offend some of you guys. Oh, I'm just going to say it. Going along with this means you're, and I'm not trying to bash my man Dave here. Going along with this means you're saying, I am willing to cross this barrier that says it's okay for them to tell me what I can put in my body. And you are part of the problem. There's no two ways around that. By being coerced into something you don't want to do, you are part of the problem. I would even go as far, I'm not going to go as far as saying if you took the jabba jabba, you are part of the problem. Because I find it to be silly to do that anyway, simply because the risk is so minute for most people. But I get it, man. Some people just live in fear. The media is insane. No one talks about the side effects. No one does. I mean, people do. You just got to find them. Alex Berenson, I got, we'll share this with you here, right here. I'm not even going to say this right quick, but you can read this right here, and you should follow my man Alex. Pandemic of the jabba jabbed in nursing homes anyway. Yep. I follow voxday.net. But you shouldn't be surprised. Oh, wait, hold on a second. We talk about right here. Hold on a second right here. No, not only were the jabba jabba trials ended prematurely and the control groups destroyed, but substantive evidence of adverse effects were simply hand-waved through deceit and redefinition. Yep, 100%. There's so much. Oh, did I not show you guys that? Oh, wait, I didn't show it. Hold on a second. Let me show you that one. So that's Alex Berenson, a Substack, Berenson. If you're not following my man Alex, you need to be. And we're going to go to my man here. Right here. It's voxday.net. Neither safe nor effective. And again, just follow people. Say, And once you start, you're like, Oh, by the way, along those lines, let me show you the idiots that we're dealing with that is going to control what you do with your body. What are you doing? I'm going to show you. This is freaking. This is actually sad. This is nuts. I can't remember how I came across this, but it was freaking Young Ripa. I could not. I said this can't be true. This is from just a couple of days ago. The happiest day of my life is here. The happiest day of my life. Here's this chick who's with ABC News, Patricia Carvelis. Memories of the happiest days of my life. So she's reposting a picture of her getting the vax, saying it's memories of the happiest day of my life. She's got kids and is married. This is freaking insanity. This right here is a perfect picture of what has happened. It's completely rich lefties in the United States or in the whole West. They are desperate to have been part of the Selma protest. They are desperate to be like Charlton Heston, mixing with blacks when they're being discriminated against. They've always wanted, there's got to be something for their life to have meaning. And this right now is it. It was BLM before. It was the Me Too movement. Green energy goes in all this, but this is even better. Because here there are people dying from it. I don't deny that in the least. Not in the least. There's also people dying all the time from heart disease, hypertension, suicide. We got obesity rising rampant now among our youth. That will affect more people to come. That will freaking that'll put a health concern on the NHS or the what, you know, for England and whatever the hell we have here, which is this quasi-fascistic healthcare system. These people are just desperate to have something that can give their life meaning. That's it, man. And to have meaning, it's got to be an enemy, and the enemy is us. There's no other way around that. They hate us. They hate us. And this is, it's liberating to no degree. I can't explain when you realize they don't want you here. And then you're going to say, I can't convince them. I'm just going to live myself. I'm not going to hate them. I'll pray for them. I mean, I was just reading Paul today, the first, I forgot what it was. It wasn't this book, Thessalonians, right? Thessalonians, I think it was that. Oh yeah, the very controversial one where Paul says, you know, he won't have women as preachers. But anyway, First Thessalonians here. But he talks about, you know, you got to be basically praying for everybody, your enemies, and Jesus said, you know, pray for your enemies. So you pray for these people, but these people aren't to be reasoned with. They're not to be rationalized with. They have to be defeated, and the way they're defeated is by you saying, "I'm not being part of this anymore." Yeah, by throwing in with your willingness to take this to keep your job, you're throwing in with people who want you to do you evil. There's no other way around that. And at some point, we have to call a spade a spade. This is evil. Is being perpetrated on ignorant fools, unfortunately, because lots of people just don't want to think for themselves. But even worse is being perpetrated by people who hate a certain people, which is sad. Frankly, it's being perpetrated by inherently racist people who actually don't like black people first and foremost. They will never say that. That's why they're part of the Margaret Sanger Foundation. But who do you think when it comes to child population reduction, who they're going after? People in Africa, man. India too, I grant you. But it's Africa. Africa ain't a bunch of Western white people. Who do you think is scared crapless of the Jabba Jabba? No, it's black people. Every reason they should be. Now, the woke libs can never say that. But they hate Trumpsters. They hate the South. And they truly hate a certain group of people who are darker skin color than I do. They can't say that, but they do. It's evil stuff, man. And by perpetuating that, by allowing it to happen, you're increasing thrown in with evil. There's no other way around it. At some point, you just got to make a choice. It's I'm going to be with evil. I'm not. And you use the tools of the evil right here to help other people to pull them out. Say, you can do this. You don't need to be a freaking guinea pig for evil. Can you imagine telling your wife, honey, I love being married to you, but you know the happiest day of my life? Once I got the jab. That's freaking, to even think that way. It's insane. It's nuts. And I got to tell you, my man, David, if you're okay with that, to keep $145,000 a year job, probably nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to grow horns. Probably. But on the other hand, probably if you don't do it, nothing's going to happen to you either. So they're going to mandate it? Why? Why are they going to mandate it? I'd say, all right, you know, you look, there's going to be a budding society of people say, no requirements here, come work for me. And there's going to be some serious skilled people. As an Ayn Rand Atlas Shrugged right in front of our very eyes, two societies, people who just go on to get along and they'll do whatever they're told because of white lab coat people. And people say, I'm an independent thinker. Which side of that do you want to be on? It's inevitable to me. Doesn't mean it can be civil war, nothing like that. It just means at the end of the day, you're going to say, I want to be part of the team that is righteous and those guys are not. And I want to be part of this, man, because the world is changing, and I want to be on the team that's making changes in a good way. Anyway, God bless you, brother. You got one kid. You need a couple more. Let's shoot for 4, huh? Maybe I'll get one for the thumb. I never got one for the thumb. Wish I did, but 4 C-sections, and we were a little bit nervous about Charles' ability to pop out another child. But at the end of the day, we got 4. ain't all peaches and cream, man. Wouldn't have it any other way. In fact, we had to give my ninth grader a haircut today. He was not happy. And my wife's like, why is he crazy? I said, because all teenage boys are crazy, babes. I was crazy. Your brothers are crazy. All teenage boys are crazy. It's all there is to it. He's crazy. I don't know what to do. I said, there's nothing you can do. Just let him be. Basically, all teenagers. The girls are crazy at 8th grade. My son is crazy at 9th grade. My other son is yet to be crazy at 8th grade. So I'm sure he'll be crazy next year. And I just tell her, I said, look, we got one more to do. So just relax because it'll all work out. All right. So can a variable annuity be used as a bridge account before collecting Social Security at retirement? Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, here's my man who did not agree with me, South African. Which do you think may be better? Delay taking Social Security and living from investments, or taking Social Security and letting investments grow? Delay taking Social Security and living from investments, 100%. So my man, I love this good guy. He did not agree with me on my. They're publishing this thing about a Muslim saying, "Oh, Akbar trying to storm the cockpit." I said it's all false flag. It's such a setup. You can see that a mile away. I mean, they're just trying to get the Trumpsters rabble-roused to say, hey, don't look at those guys, the real bad guys, which is the deep state. Look at those Muslims because, they're the ones who want to kill us. I tell you, Trumpsters, don't fall for this stuff. It's such a false flag. If Muslims wanted to do it, we'd all be dead. And by the way, if Christians wanted to do it to you people, you'd all be dead too. And we're all still here. It's just give me a break. It's a false flag to get you divided. I'm just telling you right now. Don't fall for it. It's I mean, come on, man. I'm just like, even if we're so okay, there's some crazy people out there. Welcome to the world, man. Welcome to the world. There's a freaking crazy Muslim. Welcome to the world. There's a crazy Christians, there's crazy atheists, there's crazy whites, there's crazy blacks, there's crazy everybody. I mean, just the idea that just one guy says something that's, oh my goodness, that just shows you they're coming. I'm like, yeah, boy. I find this to be silly on its face and actually perpetuating an evil that doesn't need to exist, other than for the right wing to keep us divided. Because that's what the right wing media is perpetuating, actually, because they're part of the big cabal too, man. Don't give me a break, man. The right wing media, look, there's a Muslim saying crazy stuff. We should all get nervous about the Muslims. No, give me a break. Jeez. Oh, but I'll take a Muslim 100 times out of 100 over what we have in Harvard right now. I'll tell you that right now. Who do you think is more evil? Muslims from freaking Africa? No, I get this Boko Haram. I get it. I 100% get it. There are crazy Muslims out there, 100%. I will still take but at the end of the day, who can do worse? The Boko Haram in Africa or what's going on in Harvard, and has been going on for decades. Let's be realistic here. Give me those Haitians any day of they're not Muslims, I grant you, but give me those Haitians any day of the week over what we got in Harvard, because that's where evil is being perpetuated over and over the globalist cabal. And to focus on this small group of crazies, Boko Haram or the Taliban, while right in front of our very eyes is a grand evil of all grand evils, is nuts to me. And look, I wasn't always there. I tell you, I used to. Trust me, I wasn't always there. I'm glad I'm here where I am, though, because now I can look at my Muslim brothers and say, something. I wish I was. I wish I could be as devout as some of you guys. I really do. I love Jesus. I think Muslims are pretty fond of Jesus too, by the way. Just saying. But at the end of the day, we got a whole lot more evil to worry about than that these guys don't believe Jesus was a resurrected Son of God. And what we have to worry about is being perpetrated on us right now. So anyway, my man, South African, I think kind of fell for the false flag. And I wish we would not, because it's a false flag that seeks to divide. And when they divide, they can conquer you. And when you aren't divided, you say, yeah, we believe different things. Yes, some of you guys will be idiots. Some of you guys will be dumb, I grant you. The vast majority of us not idiots. The vast majority of us not dumb. The vast majority of us just want to be left alone. Hey, Josh, which we already did that. All right. Walking, working stiff. Binghamton. Remember the old Binghamton Whalers in the AHL. Might be getting my walking papers, getting his walking shoes. After 27 years, because I'm afraid of needles. I just, can you imagine loyalty for 27 years and you got to go? I just, the level of corporatism that just, I tell you, man, it's, this, there's no other to say it. This is what happens when we have no unions. I don't know what else to say. It's like, it's nuts for me to say this. The biggest anti-union guy you can possibly imagine. But the facts were that no unions mean you're on your own, which also means you have a right to leave, right? And they have a right to fire you. That's a right to work, or at will employee, which is actually quite free. But when it comes from a fascistic government that we have now, remember, fascism doesn't mean jackbooted thugs. It just means we're going to make the trains run on time, which is government. They know they can't run things very well, very efficiently. So they say, we're going to hire out to essentially contract the highest bidders, and the highest bidders are the people who are paying us slush money. You know, look at Hunter Biden. Look, at the end of the day, it's Hunter Biden, it's Trent, that's the whole thing. It's all big in that DC area. They're selling their soul for money. There's no other way around that. The Republicans, the Democrats, all the lobbyists, all those think tanks, they all do it. And so corporate says, yeah, I'll basically, we're like Al Capone. You got a nice business here. It'd be a shame if you lost it. The same thing. And so basically, all right, I'll play your game, Sniffy Joe. Here's your money. Just, I'll be in charge of whatever you want me to do. Just let me make money. And that's what they're doing. And so now there's no fight against that because we've all delegitimized the unions, and rightly so. I mean, there's tons of corruptions in unions. I mean, you should see the Philadelphia Trade Union when they're trying to build non-union out in Pennsylvania. They're just evil crap. So I don't support that either. I'm just saying this is what happens at some point. You're going to get way overcompensating for unions, and now you're having the other way around. There is no union, so employees are left for 27 years, and they're just left throwing, saying, nice knowing you, see you. And you're like, man, all the work I did for you, and this is what I get. You freaking pieces of crap. But there you go. So the pendulum always swings right now because the unions were so insane, 20, 30 years ago. They lost. They just lost. And as such, now we're in the exact opposite, where the corporations are in charge, and the corporations doing the behest of the government is fascism. 28,000 people have more than 5. Yeah, right on, man. What's the best way to grow 50,000 in cash at age 62? Save it. Yeah, right on. Yeah. 100%, Carl. All right. Thanks, man. Yeah, me too. Eric said, I wish I'd opened a brokerage account instead of 401k. Yeah. We got Ed Fulton from Fulton County. All right. Good. Let's see what we got over in. All right, look at this, man. All right, sweet. So here's my man, David. All right. So let's read what David's doing. So David, let me just get rid of that. This is fancy. This is what I'm talking about. So 34. Just had his first kid, a little bit late. He's still got 3 more to go. It's all good. But again, he's got money, man. Now, he's obviously doing well. He's low risk. We'll try to get religious exemption, but I do want to work for a company that goes on. Yeah, right on. They're a defense contractor. It's a tough position. I'm working right now, David, with a guy who's a defense. He and his wife are defense work for defense contracting. And let's just put it this way: their companies is in a world of hurt, and they're yeah, we're not doing it because they defend. I mean, just think how absurd a good company who does good quality work for a good fair price will not be allowed to use. The government won't be allowed to use their services because of the jabba. Think how absurd that is from a nation that supposedly values competence. What matters isn't your competence, it's whether or not you got the jabba. I mean, do you think there could be problems in the future, the short term. There could be huge problems. Yeah, so David said, here's the problem that he's got. 80% of him wants to just dig a well, go all solar, start a vegetable garden, reduce expenses, work his side hustle, and quit the crap hill job. Just bought 5 acres, moved out the country last month because of all that craziness. I tell you, man. I mean, it's a choice you have to make. It seems pretty obvious to me what you should be doing, but you have to think about that. All right. Amanda Smith says, I only have a SEP. Should I open a regular IRA too? I mean, if you're funding the SEP, I don't see a need to, but you could. I don't see the need to though. But yeah, I would actually, if you can, I'd rather you do the Roth, do the SEP and do the Roth. Right on, right on. Hello, retired 2019. Once I hire you, we'll have to prepare for our first meeting. You need your social security numbers big time, and not just throwing numbers at the board. You need to go online and find out what they are for sure. Looks like the Bills, I think they smoked. Aren't they 3-0 now, the Bills? My man Shooter says he may be forced in retirement by the dictator. Yeah. What do I think about Evergreen $300 billion debt problem is spooking the markets? I don't even know what Evergreen is. I don't know what Evergreen is. Elaborate, please. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they'll just do it like Charlotte's former employer, do it dirty style. Right on. That's for my better half. Forgetting. Oh, you're still here? All right, come on. I love you. So with my better half, I was chuckling today. The idea that they're going to replace her. It's actually funny that they are doing this. I try not to be joyous at other people's errors, but it's hard not to be. Because the CEO said, we've got to do what we can to protect the vaccinated. And they're like, so if you're not vaccinated, you're not all that worried about protecting us? Okay. But anyway, I laugh. I'm sitting there thinking, you really are going to sacrifice that woman. I can't. I'm sitting there in just awe and wonder of the insanity it is. Remember Binghamton? You want to go back out again? Oh, come on. Remember the guy from Binghamton? 27 years on the job. I guarantee that guy knows a thing or two about the hell he's doing at that company. You think you're going to replace that guy? You think you're going to replace her? My better half? I cannot wait. I cannot wait when the virtue signal evaporates. They're left holding a friggin' wet bag. I wish I could see it because it's going to be awesome to behold. Just maintain it, and we'll laugh. We'll all laugh in unison shortly. It's going to be so fun. These fools, as Jesus says, they know not what they do. I can't wait. I'm very much looking forward to the day when we say, like Nelson from The Simpsons. It's going to be fantastic. I mean, how many quality people? And the thing is, the people who are not doing it aren't dumb. They think that through these nurses, that you listen to these nurses and these doctors who are saying, I'm not doing it. Oh my goodness. It's frankly, it's awesome. I'm very, very happy. You can no longer contribute to an HSA after 65, but can still grow. That's right, Scott. So good stuff. Yeah. Kathy from ARK Investments believes we're in a deflationary period while others are nervous about inflation. Should mid-35-year-old individual even pay attention when adding to the brokerage? No, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Pay down debt, all right, and you invest. There's literally nothing else you can do. What else are you going to do, man? You're going to sit there and say, Kathy, right? Kathy, whatever name is right, or the inflationary hawks are right. Would that change? I mean, I don't think so. Sarah, right on. 130,000. 1.3 million. All right. No debt, 2 in college, 3 at home. Not sure I can pull it off. Oh, we don't know if you can pull it off either until we find out what you spend there, lady friend. Good. But see, Sarah Wilson, the future belongs to those who show up. So here's old Sarah with 5. 1 for the thumb. Our side is winning. Their side is losing. I did, Kim, from that vanilla ice cream, and all my kids love it. It is fantastic. Just that Costco vanilla ice cream is like 1 step below sweet cream from Cold Stone. And sweet cream from Cold Stone is awesome, but it's insanely expensive. That Costco vanilla is fantastic. There's no 2 ways around that. I'm just Tom is kicking butts, answering questions. Much obliged there, Tom. So yeah, that's what I thought too. Scott says you can't add to it, but can grow. Yeah, right on. All right, Janice says, I forgot who asked this the other day, but the rule 72 tells you how roughly long it takes for your investments to double. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good. So you guys are getting it. Fantastic. Yeah, no cap on growth, but you can't contribute it once you apply for Medicare. All right, so I think we're all in agreement there. So good. So Denise, just tell that person to say you can still grow, you just can't add to it. So right on. That's all good. All good. Another reason not to see what we've been doing mistakenly, we've been using our HSA, and we shouldn't do that. We should just let that. It's not much in there anymore, unfortunately, but just let that puppy grow and grow and grow, because you have limits on when you can add to it. And at this stage is at the age of 65. So you think about, you're 78 years old. Let's just say you have 150,000 bucks in your HSA, tax free. All right. Vinyl says Medicare Advantage, all the mediocre doctors will take low rates. There might be some truth to that. I'm not going to say that. My man Vinyl in Connecticut said that, so find him if your doc would take that. But I think there might be some truth to that for sure. JD says, or Jill, you can use HSA on Medicare premiums, but not on ACA. Okay, gotcha. You can use for COBRA premiums. Interesting. Did not know that. Vinyl says he found a Part D for only $13 a month. Uh-oh, here's my other one. Come on, guy. There we go. Pablo's in the other room. No, Pablo's not here. He went in the other room. Oh, look, he's looking for Pablo. Look. He's like, where's Pablo? Where is he? He went in the other room, buddy. Come on. Come on. Okay. Come on. There he is. Oh, man. I love you. Yes, I do. Give me some immunity. Here, kisses. 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 Oh, yes, I love you. You want to come on up? Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I love you too. That guy. Kisses. Not much going on behind those eyes, but he's so gorgeous. Oh, there you go. Oh, I love that dog. I'm trying to go back out. Oh, Finney, you guys crack me up. Seeing Finney and Pablo wrestle is the funniest thing in the history of mankind. So they're on the carpet wrestling. They got up on the couch wrestling. Back to the carpet wrestling. Then they started doing zoomies, chase each other. Oh, man. That's what I'm saying. There's so much to be happy. Just a sunrise, your dogs chasing each other, just hearing a little kid laughing. Oh, there's so much to be glorious about. Why let these idiots? Why risk bad things happening when you don't need to risk it, because there's likelihood of anything happening to you, if you know what I'm saying. It's so small, and it's just why. Part two of that, why just go through life like, the Muslims or the friggin', I don't know, the whatever, the Antifa. I mean, yes, anything can happen, but why go through life just all worried about it when if it happens, it happens. Obviously you want to be, keep your head on a swivel. You don't want to be stupid. But my goodness, there's so much good in the world of just beauty, nature. Just seeing some, so I put some my late season growing, got some carrots in there, and and I had my fall strawberry. I had my first fall strawberry, which is fantastic. And I just like, it's such a glorious thing to just have. You see your carrots kind of coming up, and you don't want to stare at them because you stare at them, they won't grow. But man, that's why gardening is so great, because it gets you outside with the fresh air. Oh my goodness, the fresh air, and it gets you some of that vitamin D. But you see just a tiny little, how small a carrot seed is? It's tiny. And to see that puppy grow, where we just ate some tonight, as a matter of fact. Was it tonight? Yeah, it was tonight. From the garden, my summer carrots. Oh, I didn't do any corn this year. Next year I gotta do some corn. All right. No, that's okay. So Jill says, I heard once you go on Medicare Advantage, you can never go back. That's not true. You're going to be underwritten unless you live in one of those states like Connecticut, and I think maybe New Jersey as well. Because I was talking to a guy the other day, and his supplemental plans were like $312. Like, damn. But I definitely know you can go back, Jill. So once you're on Medicare Advantage, you can go back to original Medicare. It's just you have to. A lot of times they'll underwrite you to make sure there's no pre-existing conditions. 10th Mountain, right on. Michael McIntyre, you got it. Looks like some pizza there. That was pretty good. Yeah, right on. There you go. Right on. Hey, man, look at this. Yeah, we tried Good RX the other day, Eric, but it was all generic. And for some reason, our doc did not prescribe generic. I can't remember why, but we did try that. It's just generic. I got no qualm, but it was generics. Part D is $8. Are you on Medicare Advantage? How are you guys getting Part D at $8 a month, man? And then Vinyl's getting at $13 a month. I don't get it. Huh. How much total for all the parts you need? So Part B, Part D, and either the supplemental policy, Dan. So what I do in a Right Capital, I have Part B $150 a month. And I think that's going to change this. We'll see. Anyway, $150. It'll change next year. Part D, $50 a month. And I have for a supplemental policy, average $150 a month. The subs are depending on your state. So just remember the supplemental policy, otherwise known as Medigap. All right. You're in network for any doc who takes Medicare patients in the whole country. You're in network. Just always remember that, my friends. The benefit of the supplemental policy is you are always in network. That doesn't mean you can get an appointment, but you're at least in network. Medicare Advantage is an HMO, and it's cheap. I hate to say it's cheap. I don't know, but most likely it's cheaper than the original Medicare. But you're HMO. If you're doing any kind of traveling, that could be problematic. And then it changes every year. In fact, JO over at MaximizeYourMedicare.com. He's an expert on this stuff. He's like, you don't understand, Josh. Every year the prescription drugs changes on a lot of these plans. It's like, how do you keep up? Anyway, point being is that if your plan changes, you got to go to another plan. Can you just? And that's not fun. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Tina says, great chat tonight. 4 a.m. wake up, must sign off. Blessings. Well, Tina's got to get up early to go to work. It's only 9:30. It's too late for her. Well, I'm goosing you, Tina. I'm goosing you. Hope you know that. I think Tina knows that. But I'm just giving her a hard time. Gotta get to bed. It's too late for me. All right. Let's see what we got here. How about REIT Management Company? I don't know thing about it. Frontline was a repost older episode. Oh, was that the one where they're scaring everybody about retirement? It seemed like a couple years ago that was out. When I first started my YouTube channel, about a year into it, I remember getting a lot of things on Frontline that we can't retire. I don't know if that's the same one, but I remember there's some kind of PBS thing and say, oh God. All right. Jim says 5-year Roth conversion rule. If you have multiple conversions, does your brokerage account provider keep track for you? I probably bet not, especially if you're consolidating to one. So I would, I don't think it's that hard to do, frankly. You say, I converted 10,000 in 2013, 12,000 in 2014, 20,000 in 2015. Just keep a record, man. I don't think they might. I don't know, but you'll have you can keep your statements from those past. You download them and just print them off, or save them in a file in a jump drive, and then you'll know. No big deal. Or just keep it on a notepad. No big deal. Or you could just open individual accounts. 2013 Roth IRA, 2014 Roth IRA. Lots of ways to do that, but I bet they probably don't. Yeah. Frontline story popped up is from 2013. Has not been updated. Never looked at expenses. People. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Right on. Cool. I remember. Okay. So it was. I remember that. Every now and again they redo. YouTube's weird like that. They know what they're doing. But every now and again I'll get stuff that pop in my feed. I said, "Ah, man, you were trying to show that to me a year ago." I remember. It's funny actually. Have I ever read Chuck Freely's? Given while living, he started duty-free imports and gave his net worth of $2 billion to charity retained. Oh, that's freaking fantastic! I have not. Wow, look at that. Given while living, he started duty-free imports and gave his net worth of $2 billion to charity, retained $2 million for him as well. That's fantastic. Anyways, keep me handcuffed at age 55. Could you do some NUA videos for us corporate zombies that have the golden handcuffs on? Well, I don't get why NUA would keep you handcuffed. I don't understand that. I don't get it. Why is it keeping you handcuffed? I'm missing something here. Why? What's the? It's like saying I got a $2 million 401k is keeping me handcuffed. I don't get it. There we go. The retirement gamble story will open your eyes to fees. Huh. Not familiar with that. Is that a book or what? All right. Reverse mortgage question. If max is $822,000, you can borrow on the program, but house is worth $3 million. Do you still have to pay the Fed insurance fee? I imagine you do, Jim. I imagine you do. Yeah, 100%. So that might be that might be a challenge. 100%. We got see Clarendon before it became all freaking hoity-toity in Hipsterville. They had the best chimichanga I've ever had in my life. And when I first got out of the Army in 1992, my dad took me down there. Oh, dude, I would kill for that chimichanga. But I never had one. 2 weeks later, I went back and the place was a used car dealer. I was like, no. Oh, that was so painful. Like literally the week I got out of the Army, he took me to this place to get chimichangas in Clarendon. And after that, it was a used freaking car dealer. I said, no. Oh, I would have married that woman who made that chimichanga for me. That was before I met Charlotte. Oh, I would have married her in Guadalupe. I'm sure that was her name. I would have married Guadalupe in 2 seconds flat, just to feed me those chimichangas all day long. She probably put, laced it with cocaine or something like that. That's why it tastes so good. But man, it's just some hole in the place. And I was like, Dad, we're going here? It's like, dude, you don't understand. And he was right. Oh, I would have killed for that chimichanga. Just being facetious, YouTube. You're just being facetious. All right. Yeah, my father told me to have to react 100%, man. All right. Saw a sign today said, if you are watching news, you are in a pandemic. For everybody else, it's Sunday. 100%, man. For the big book, if you have a resentment you want to be free of, if you will pray for the person or thing you resent, you will be free. Man, it's so true. 100%. Spot on. I've been reading the classic Stoics. Helps me manage myself as client. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are type A, we're motivated. We're freaking, we're ass kickers. You know what I'm saying? We want to get stuff done, and you don't take kindly to fools. That's all there is to it. I'm like that. You're like, dude, you guys are freaking idiots. And you're running things, and it freaking pisses you off. You're like, I cannot believe this clown show that we're dealing with, but it doesn't matter what you believe. It is. And so you say, well, I can get mad or I can not get mad. Either way, it still is. It's kind of like going back to the firearm example I always use. A firearm is neither good nor bad. It just is. It's a tool and it's inanimate. There's value in it, but in terms of it has no moral code or anything, it just is. It's a phone. I mean, theoretically, this phone could be evil too. You see what I'm saying? I mean, if I crack myself over the head. What's your view on Wellington going forward? And freaking love it, man. Oh, Evergrande. All right, you said Evergreen. All right, Evergrande. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. China. I mean, if you think China is, I'm not saying you are Chicken Charlie, but a lot of people think China is going to take over the country. Wrongly speaking Mandarin. Oh my goodness, China is a paper tiger. Who's my man? Fred was telling me about this guy. Right, I haven't watched him yet, but I want to. So we're gonna bring up. This guy sounds fantastic. Let's bring up this guy here. If I can get rid of this. How do I comments? So I'm missing a lot of comments. Sorry, guys. Okay. It makes no sense. Larry Eve, man. It literally makes no sense. We all know that. If anything, it's the other way around because the jabbed have a huge viral load compared to us. All right, so let's look this guy up here. So my man was telling me about this guy. Peter Zahan or something like that. I haven't seen it, but I like this guy who I've talked to, and if he likes him, I want to be following old Peter here. Have y'all have heard of Peter Zahan? Is this his channel, Geopop? Anyway, so anyway, pretty good. So follow China right there. I'm keen on that kind of stuff. Anyway, I think China's again another boogeyman that we're focused on when the true boogeyman isn't in Beijing, it's in the friggin' Brussels. I don't see how anyone could see this differently at this stage. To say that the Chinese commies, as evil as they are the problem, when this was. I emailed my man Michael Edison the other day because he had written an article. He's in Hong Kong, and anyway, big fan. But anyway, I said that's nuts. The Chinese crap that we're inundated with when you can see with our own very eyes the tyranny that is. And yet, if you go on TikTok, you can talk about the jabba jabbas. If you go on TikTok, you can talk about election results, if you know what I'm saying, without getting banned. Now, can you talk about the evils of communism? Probably not. But under the Chinese dictatorship, you can still go on TikTok and talk about the jabba jabbas and not get banned. And yet you come here in the free America. You say anything, you're banned. Now you can still go outside and say it. You lose your job. They always say you have a freedom of speech, but you also have responsibilities of such freedom. That means if someone punches you in the face, that's your fault for saying something someone doesn't like. It's nuts. It's nuts. But yet China. I mean, it's not even leftism versus rightism. It's globalism versus, it's the Wall Street versus Main Street. And it's 2015 where I started waking up, man, in terms of this crap. It's 2015. And I started reading my man Sundance at the Conservative Treehouse. And it's Main Street versus Wall Street. It's all there is to it. Wall Street is all encompassing on the big globalist cabal. Anyway, long story short, Trump is the only thing we had going for us. And look, I hope Trump doesn't run again, but in a way I hope he does because I love that he likes to stick it to these guys. It's fun. I love it. He posts that meme with a George Bush face and a Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney. And the left goes crazy. It is so funny to behold. I love it. It's the funniest thing ever. And we don't have anyone near that. DeSantis, I love DeSantis, but to make them laugh miserable is fun. It just makes me laugh. It's happy. It makes me happy. And I hate to be like that, but to see the they're so upset by Trump. Oh, I love it. It's fun. All right. I think we'll probably get ready to get out of here. Good to have no debt, man, at age 62 and start with annual pension, draw from both spousal benefits, or I wouldn't touch taxable on benefits. Or I guess you're saying your retirement accounts. Yes, I would take my retirement accounts along my pension, and I would wait to take Social Security for sure. That's what I do. So, if I had IRA and pension, I'm taking IRA and pension money, and I'm allowing my Social Security benefits to keep at it. All right, my friends, I'm going to get out of here. I'm getting my head is my thoughts are. Dave Stewart, he was fantastic. He's not alive anymore. My throat is hurting. 100% final. If Trump could not be his own worst enemy, why punch at Joe Scarborough? Why? I never understood that. Never understood that. Why his fascination with vaxxers too? By the way, that was weird to me, and I don't know. I don't know what got into him. Actually, it was weird, man, and I don't know what that was. That was very, very disappointing. And if Jill's still on here, she'll know how much we disagree on that. Because we're both anti-jabba jabba. Oh no, run for the hills. We're anti-science. But that was very disappointing. And I don't know what that was. She's more accommodating to Trump, and I'm not. I say, yeah, maybe. But at the end of the day, the funny thing was they were showing some things on I can't remember, some meme, some fool saying there's no way I'm taking the Trump vax. Only idiots would take the Trump vax. That's not science. Then literally 6 months later, how dare you don't take the vax? You should be banned from society. Literally the same people saying it, man. It's Chef Jeff says go back to listen to Trump inaugural. The power is coming back to. I don't think it is actually. Look, I'm not. I try maybe because I'm from Maine, and when you're born and raised on an island in Maine, you can't help but be a natural pessimist. Maybe it's just because the sun goes down early in the wintertime. I don't know. There's always a nor'easter coming, but I really don't think the power is coming back to people. I actually have come to the conclusion. I think a lot of people like to be ruled. I really do. I think they like to be told what to do, and they like to have an enemy that they can focus on, because for them to have to not have an enemy they can focus on would have to actually think hard thoughts like, are we going to allow us to be ruled by tyranny? And most people say, no, I want to be free. I want to be free. But I can never be free as long as those guys, the unjabbed, the Muslims, the Chinese, or something like that. And as such, it's easy out for them to say, yeah, man, I'm fighting. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm fighting on behalf of freedom by going after those guys. The mom who wants to freaking open up a restaurant but doesn't mandate the jabba jabba. No, I can't have that. I'm going after her. You see what I'm saying? The guy who doesn't want his daughter to learn about 52 genders while she's in second grade. That guy's evil. I'm going after that guy. So I'm going to go after those people as such, and they're gonna closet or use the idea that their science is on their side, because there's a bunch of highly credentialed idiots that with white lab coats that say this is the way to do it, who are running the show. And Nassim Nicholas Taleb talks about the intellectual yet idiots, the IYIs, intellectual yet idiotic. That's what it is, intellectual yet idiotic. That's we're ruled by an intellectual idiot elite. There's no other way around that. Look, man, just because you have a PhD, it doesn't mean crap to me. It doesn't. Look, I don't care. It's nice to see that you focus on that, study that, but just because you have a PhD, a guy was arguing with me against battery technology. He has a PhD in chemistry. He's like 10 years. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting there thinking, and again, as we kind of circled this, you know who solved the American world for natural? Remember, let's go back to the late 70s. Why did we ramp up our use of coal? Anyone want to take a guess? Let's take a look here. Is that Bill Meyer from my man Bill? I saw Bill Meyer on here, and there's a Bill Meyer Okay. Right on, Bill. Bill Meyer used to write with William Reichenstein, about Social Security stuff. I'm sure that's not the same Bill Meyer. But anyway, long story short, so what we're talking. All right. So why did we ramp up the use of coal? Anyone want to take a guess? But why did the government tell us not to use natural gas? So, David. Paul asked, did my children have all the required vaccinations at school? Paul, none of your freaking business. None of your business what my kids have. So mind your own. Huh? Talk about my kids, dude. All right. No, it wasn't because the government told us not to use natural gas, but it wasn't because it was cheap. There was a huge shortage of natural gas. We thought we were done. We thought we were done with natural gas. It's crazy, which is why Jimmy Carter said, put your sweater on. Turn whatever it was. Don't heat your homes very well. We thought it was over. And yet a guy named George Mitchell, not the evil George Mitchell of Maine, the good George Mitchell, found a way to get to the gas through horizontal fracking. Exactly, Marie. Until, all right, see ya. All right, Paul, he's gone. Till George Mitchell came along. And that's what's amazing, is that all of a sudden out of nowhere, all the best people in the world couldn't find a way to figure out how to get to that gas that was in rock formations. And George Mitchell came along and figured it out. Now, look, it wasn't just George Mitchell. No, I get you. But at the end of the day, that's the guy who freaking uses investments to make it happen where we are today, where natural gas is abundant. And they're finding so much in the Permian. They're finding so much all over the world. It's insane. It's insane how much is out there. And yet you're sitting there saying the battery technology, which they haven't been able to develop in any extraordinary circumstance other than going from lead acid to lithium, is going to all of a sudden power the world with storage of energy? Does that make any sense at all? I mean, I'm sitting here thinking this is a PhD in chemistry who says 10 years now, it will all be changed. I'm like, it's the idea is so fanciful that just because you have a PhD in chemistry, the just basic logic seems to lose sometimes. And this guy said he's a self-proclaimed right-winger. I said, it would be great if we could store energy, not just electricity, the energy we need in batteries. That'd be great. But we have all the energy we need right now, natural gas and coal. Never mind uranium. Oh, by the way, uranium, what comes out of a nuclear plant is steam. All right, good old-fashioned steam. Just like when you're heating your spaghetti and it comes to a boil, that's steam. That's what comes out of a nuclear plant. Just FYI. It's not smoke. And you're not going to freaking die of it. But they'll always post this. They'll show this. They'll always have like an orange sun with an orange sunset with this nuclear thing, and they'll show steam coming out. But the implication is that smoke. And like, this is global warming. It's so, yeah. The point, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I just sitting there thinking these credentialed people. I'm not saying they're stupid in their field. I'm just saying they have such a faith. It literally is truly a faith. And things that they think somehow they are the magician to make it work, where everyone else before them is not. And it's just, now I know you can say, well, is that what they said about George Mitchell? No, man, no. They said don't use natural gas anymore in the 70s. Go to coal. We wanted to make it clean coal. And then on top of that, Jimmy Carter said by the year 2000, solar should be able to provide 20 to 30% of our energy. Not our electricity, our energy. That's what the Carter administration was saying in 1977. I got the data to show you. The headline from the Wall Street Journal by Walter Mossberg. Carter administration thinks solar should be able to provide 20% of our energy use by 2000s. I mean, and here we are today, not even anywhere close to that. Not even anywhere. It's embarrassing small how much solar provides for our total energy. It's embarrassing. It's just nuts. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so the point being is we want to have storage capacity. Well, we do already in coal, natural gas, oil, and uranium. It's all there is to it. So what are you going to do, man? Now we have more and more people increasing the demand, because we're not going to allow India, heaven forbid. I'm not going to say India, you guys remain poverty. Chinese, you got to remain impoverished because we want to live green like Greta Thunberg and the fools. Hell no. So they're going to come online. They're going to want cheap electricity. They're going to want heating oil. They're going to want cheap goods delivered from all these places too, via transportation that can't be done with battery power. All that's going to do is increase the load, the demand. How are you going to meet that with solar panels? Are you freaking insane? But Josh, the solar photovoltaic, we can get a 33% efficiency in a lab, a tiny little lab. You're not going to put a 33% efficiency PV panel on your roof, man. It's not happening. But Josh, we'll be able to store more electricity in batteries. Anyway, it's nuts how much these people fall for this stuff. But they want to. That's where I'm trying to go with this. They want to. So going back to my man who's David, should I take the jabba or should I quit? I can't tell you what to do. 100%, Jill. I tell you, 100%. I'm not doing. I'm not. And people say, "Oh, so you're against all pharmaceuticals?" No, not at all. What I am against is experimenting my body, especially when at least the people with the flu vax, they acknowledge they can't eliminate it. There'll never be flu zero. 100% though, as 100%, Andrew. If they can develop the battery power to store, I'm just talking electricity, not even energy. We'll focus on electricity. If they can build the batteries to store the electricity for us all, I would be happy as a clam, 100%. But the idea that we're going to limit, like they're doing in Europe, these things while they're still working on this, as they've been working on this for 120 years, is evil. And the whole point is that's the globalist cabal. But let's focus on China. Let's focus on the Muslims. Let's focus on, Black Lives Matter. No. Focus on what is bad, which is those freaking globalist corporatists, man. BlackRock of the world and stuff like that. That's where animosity should be. Because at the end of the day, those are the people who are ruling the world and tell us we cannot have freaking cheap electricity, cheap home heating fuel, and because we have it in abundance. It's freaking evil, man. Yeah, it's 100%. It's interesting how cheap generic drugs that work are the ones being stopped, blocked, and hindered and talked at one. I wonder why that is. Wonder why that is, Jill. Oh, man. Did you hear what that guy Paul said real quick? How he said, oh, and I know this guy, but not anymore because he's obviously offended by my anti-Jabba stance. See how this divides people? Why the hell would he care what I do with my kids? It's crazy to me. It's none of his business. Can you imagine actually having the audacity to ask somebody, what'd you do with your kids? That's a cowardly answer when I say it's none of your damn business. It's none of your business. This is what these people want. They want you to capitulate. They act like they're for freedom until they get scared. That's the problem. They're not for freedom. They're scared. They are literally scared of this. And they're saying, you are the bad guy because you don't have the fear I do. It's frightening. And yet I tell you, man, it's all encompassing because people fall, they just read the news too much, man. And they sit there and say, if I were to give Josh a hug, I could die. I find this to be, I just find it to be sad. And it's just like, but I'm going to say, well, Josh, didn't your kids do this or none of your business? And I will never entertain that to answer that. The actually audacity of asking me about my children is sickening, shameful. Ugh, it creeps me out, actually, that some people have the audacity. That's the whole point, Art. That's what I don't get. If you have it, why the hell do you care? It's so frustrating. And I can't tell you how many people are conservative who I don't know else. Just let me down, man. I said, I thought you're a freedom fighter. You're not. You're not. You think watching Fox News is where you're going to be. You think I'm watching Fox News. I don't follow Rachel Maddow. You're on the same plane. You're doing the same thing. You're no more of a freedom fighter than Rachel Maddow is. You just have a different group of enemies. But it's all this low hanging stuff where you can just rabble rouse each other and let the enemies of freedom just steal away. It's nuts to me that these people don't get it. And I mean, it's disappointing. I can't tell you how disappointed I am. Some of these supposed right wingers who were freedom fighters in 2020, but they were just capitulated, just scared. And I don't get it. I'm like, well, if you do what you want to do to protect yourself, so what more do you want? You want us to bleed? It's weird to me, man. But you know what it is? They know that, well, I don't know if they know. They worry and misery. And I don't want to say misery, but fear breeds content. We know that. Contempt, I should say. Contempt. It's kind of like the vegans. They always want to tell you they're a vegan. The atheists. How do you know you're talking to an atheist? Because they'll tell you the first sentence. How do you know you're talking to a vegan? They'll tell you the first sentence. How do you know you're talking about Jabba Jabba, Vaxhole? They'll tell you. It's just as weird to me. And it's just sad because this is where, if you're relying on the Republican Party to pull you out of this, I would say think again. Look, I'm still voting for Republican. I'm still voting for Herschel Walker. I still, Trump, I'll support him, the whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's not the Republicans going to pull us out because there's too many Republicans that look at what happened in Canada. Why do you think it's a stalemate up there? Well, because the freaking right winger, supposed right winger, went along with the freaking. He was just a little bit less left than friggin' Trudeau. Boris Johnson, just a little bit less left than the crazies. But when it comes to actually fighting for freedom, Boris Johnson, Aaron O'Toole, none of these guys stood up. Scott Morrison in Australia, not a damn one stood up. Not a damn one. And so we're sitting there thinking, okay, so it's a stalemate after the pendulum has swung so much. We being the right-wing freedom fighters in America and Canada, couldn't even track back. It was here. It went over here, and it's a stalemate here. This is what happens to the left. They always do that. It's here, it's there. It's here, it's there. So here comes a Republican saying, well, what is way over here? Well, we've granted all this area, so we're just going to stop it here. They stop it there for a little bit, and then see what I'm saying? It always goes left. It always does. Because of people like Paul. They want to play, I'm on Fox News game. I hate those Rachel Maddow types, but when it comes to this, no, I agree. Fauci for a savior. It's crazy. But it's not science. It's scientism. They're not involved in science. They'd read the opposite things. They don't do it. They refuse to read the other opinion. They refuse it. Frankly, somebody can't blame them because these people, this sharecropper of where I am, don't allow us to be heard, don't allow it to be seen. So they don't take the time to read it because it's not in front of them. And unfortunately, their brains are so on the algorithm. Oh, I'm going to watch this because it talks how bad Trump or how bad Biden is. Yeah, that'll get them. Oh, look at AOC or fake crying. Oh, that'll get them. Yeah, sad, man. I'm disappointed, but what are you gonna do? Yeah. All right, and get out of here, man. Oh, do you think they'll not let the stock market crash? No, crash is a matter of perspective. I mean, 25% crash is coming. I don't know when or how, but those are inevitable. They happen all the time. My concern actually, Will, is Japan, and that happened in Japan. That was you'll never. That was my concern. Regular. Even in 2008, I already have baked in the system on my Right Capital software. You can see my throat's getting scratchy. I'm not worried about. Yeah, it might well be. They just need to keep it. Yeah, I agree. I'm more worried about Japan, and that was bad from 1990 to basically 2011. Japan just got smoked, and it will never recover. All there is to it. And going back to Kathy, whatever her name is from ARC, I'm 100% in her camp in that, and deflation, and everything. I just look at Japan. I said that's what we're going to. So how do you protect yourself from that? Well, I mean, you pay off debt. You do have a diversified portfolio of stocks and some bonds. I mean, cash, stocks, bonds. That's why I say a little bit of cash in Wellington. Perfect, man. Cash, Wellington Fund, cash, Fidelity Balance Fund, no debt. That's the best you can do. Anyway, that's so a crash will come. It's just that's not a big deal. It's the big Japan that concerns me, and I don't know. That might be a bridge too far, man, for them to allow to happen. Do I think they truly control the markets? No, I think the markets are built on profits and dividends, year-over-year earnings, profits, and dividends. But I think they have a lot more control that I would have granted them, even just a few years ago, frankly. And we can, we can see that. When I'm just all right. I promise I'll stop here. We could look at. I've been meaning to do a video on this article for a long time because it's fantastic. This right here to the Feds, and this is my man over here, Lance Roberts at Real Investment Advice. I think they got a YouTube channel. To the Fed's monetary policy experiment fail. I'll do another video on this, but basically what he's saying is, I'll show you right here. Ben Bernanke, right here. Where's Bernanke? The approach eased financial conditions. What he said in 2010. Stock prices rose, long-term interest rates fell when investors began to anticipate the most recent action of us buying bonds. Easier financial conditions will promote economic growth. For example, lower mortgage rates will make housing more affordable and allow more homeowners to refinance. Lower corporate bond rates will encourage investment, and higher stock prices will boost consumer wealth and help increase confidence, which can spur spending. So their whole thing is based on spending. All right. The whole thing, economic model is based on spending. How do you get spending? You have low interest rates, more the wealth effect. Inflating assets lead to a wealth effect. As people have more assets, they have more wealth, they have more the feelings of prosperity, the more ability to spend. That makes sense. I 100% grant you that. But notice he says easier financial conditions, lower corporate bond rates. What's that? That's a borrowing. That's corporations going to borrow. Lower mortgage rates. What's that? That's individuals going to borrow. What happens when people stop borrowing? And that's what happened to Japan. People said, I was talking to a guy, a pretty wealthy business owner, and he easily could borrow. He said, after 2008, I'm never borrowing again. Never, ever. I don't care what interest rate. I'm never borrowing again. And he was big in real estate, as a builder, if that makes sense. He said, I'll never do it because that was where I almost lost my business. Anyway, the point being is Bernanke is relying, and everybody is, on the wealth effect. You keep rates low, you stimulate the economy, you throw money in there, that inflates all assets. It'd be real estate, Bitcoin, stocks, bonds, baseball card collection. I was listening to a Joe Rogan interview. There's a guy on YouTube, I forgot, Valuetainment, I can't remember. Talking about the card area is booming now. It's like, all these are inflated prices because the money is it's just floating around there. The problem is it's not all income. Not everyone's getting the wealth effect. A huge amount of people are not. And so you have this very just tiny minority of people of getting a pretty significant wealth effect. Now, I'm part of that because I have money in real estate and I have money in investments. Not as much as I like. And you are probably part of that too, guys. You have money in real estate and money in investments. You might have your baseball card collection. You might have Bitcoin, all that stuff. So we are part of the wealth effect, and you might be spending more. But us are not the consumer base. The consumer base is the vast majority of people who are not getting the wealth effect. And this is what happens with inflation. Regardless of pricing, purchasing power going down, inflation also means inflating the asset base, and inflation always affects a small percentage of people at the expense of the vast people. I mean, just any economic textbook should, I'd hope, tell you that. Inflation benefits those at the top of the chain, and it hurts those down below, 100%. So we are at the top of the chain, relatively to the top of the chain. You know what I'm saying? Not to the extent of all the guys, the Wall Street clowns, but still, we are there, and we're getting the benefit of assets inflating. The other vast majority of Americans are not. Now, look, am I saying they're going poor? No, just saying they're not getting the wealth effect. So the spending isn't there like what they're hoping. And as such, the economic model that they're banking on is falling apart. So does that mean a great crash? Well, yeah, I mean, a crash of 25%, sure. 40%, I easily can see that. Japan-ish, I don't think so. But you don't know. You don't know. And then you get a second part of this. People aren't working. And then other people are being let go because they don't take the jabba jabba. Oh, yeah, just as a follow-up here. Anyone who thinks it's acceptable to mandate the jabba jabba, please leave right now. I'm assuming that was that guy, Paul. He thought it was okay to accept the mandate, the jabba jabba. Get the hell out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want you here at all. Mandating what other people do to their bodies is nothing I want to entertain. Nothing at all. So just leave. I'd rather you not be here. And I'd rather my channel decline as opposed to have you as part of it, because that is evil stuff. If you think it's acceptable, I really don't want you here. I don't want to make money off your watching my channel for the advertisements that YouTube gives. I don't want anything to do with you. All right, I guess that's it, man. Wait, what's going on with India? I've seen something about India. I'm not sure what's true. Yeah. Yeah, I did a video on that. They're thinking about bringing foreign nurses into New York to release the state of the unjabbed. All right, I am getting tired now. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks again for being here. God bless. We'll see you guys next time around. Appreciate it.